Three young boys ding-dong ditched my house, so I chased them down and murdered them. My name is Anurag Chandra, and this is my story. In January of 2020, it was late at night, and I heard the doorbell ring at my home. I looked out the window and saw three kids running away towards their car. I was worried for my family's safety, so I hopped in my own car and began speeding at over 100 miles per hour to chase those boys down. I finally caught up to them, and I rear-ended them as hard as I could as I was going extremely fast. My plan worked and their car skidded off the road and went straight into a tree. The damage to the car looked pretty bad, so I drove away and went home. Later that day, I was apprehended by police and they told me all three boys in the car were dead. I was charged with 3 counts of murder and 3 counts of attempted murder. However, I am testifying that I did this act out of self-defense, as I was scared for my family's life when I saw a young teen come up to my door and ring the doorbell. I also was extremely drunk during the incident. Unfortunately, I was found guilty and sentenced to life in prison without parole. Follow for more stories.
This UK true crime case is absolutely disgusting. On the 11th of December 2017, emergency services were called to a house fire. It was just before 5 a.m. in Walkden, England. Firefighters battled to contain the horrific fire that engulfed the property. Time really was of the essence, as there was an entire family trapped inside. Many would have presumed at the time that this was just a tragic accident. However, the truth of what happened is absolutely sickening. Inside the home was 37-year-old mother Michelle Pearson. Her children were also trapped: 8-year-old Brandon, 15-year-old Demi, and 7-year-old Lacey, and 3-year-old Leah. Despite the fire service's best efforts, the eldest 3 children passed away in the fire. The 3-year-old was rushed to hospital but tragically died 2 days later. Mum Michelle was rushed to hospital and had to receive extensive medical treatment for her horrific injuries. She remained in a coma and had to be kept in hospital until March 2019. She tragically died on the 25th of August 2019. The horrifying deaths were a result of these 3 individuals: Zach Bolland, David Worrell, and Courtney Brierley. Terrifyingly, the trio had made homemade petrol devices in the kitchen of a nearby address. On the night in question, Courtney remained in the car while the 2 men smashed through the window of the victim's home. They then threw the devices inside the kitchen and the living room. Now, I have never heard of this happening before, but the fire spread so quickly and the heat was so intense that the smoke alarms melted before even having chance to alert the family. Zach and David were jailed for a combined total of 77 years. Courtney pleaded guilty to manslaughter and got just 12 years in jail.
Okay, so the press conference with the Pennsylvania State Police just ended. I'm going to go over some notes that I took, but the full thing will be available online here in just a little bit. So the lieutenant colonel mentions the fact that people aren't following their advice. It's known that there is a fugitive on the run, yet this dairy farm left their van unlocked with the keys inside, making it easy for him to take it and hit the road. He also mentions that he knows it was Danilo Cavalcante that took the van because the hoodie he's wearing is from that dairy farm. He's unsure exactly where he was able to get through the perimeter, but he said that certain things like darkness and underground tunnels and weather play a factor into this, and that no perimeter is able to be 100% secured. Now, the house where he was at, where this was caught on the Ring doorbell, that was an old co-worker, and it's believed that he went there to try to get some sort of assistance. They think the van was dumped because of a lack of fuel, and they believe that he's going west, but they're unsure where his next stop will be. Several other states are assisting with this search, but if he is able to cross state lines, the U.S. Marshals will take over at that point. They're not sure if he's on foot or if he was able to get another car, but so far, there aren't any reports of a stolen vehicle. He says that they are well aware of his past, including his gang affiliations, and when they find him, which he states, this is just a minor setback. We will find him. It's only a matter of time. But he states that when they find him, if he doesn't surrender peacefully, he will allow deadly force. But if he does surrender peacefully, he will go directly to a state correctional facility and be dealt with. Lieutenant Colonel also states that he really appreciates everybody's effort and he's pleased with all the help that has been given. Anyway, like I said, the press conference lasted just a little bit over half an hour. It'll all be available online here. It's probably up now, so be sure to check it out. Okay, so breaking news in the Danilo Cavalcante case. This is all over Twitter right now. Apparently, he broke into a home and was shot by the homeowner, but they think that he was able to get away with a .22 rifle. Now here's another one. Police have apparently found the green sweatshirt and shoes that Cavalcante had on.
Okay. Unit 335, team, repeat your list.
All units operating on CPG, prisoner possibly has a .22 rifle with a scope. .22 rifle with a scope is what we're being told. What?
Okay, so it looks like police are actively searching for him in the area of 1993 Fairview Road. They sent out reverse 911 calls to tell residents to shelter in place in the area of Fairview Road and Horseshoe Trail Road. Now look, numerous residents called into dispatchers about the shots being fired. Now I don't know if that's just the homeowner shooting at Cavalcante when he broke in or if he was able to fire back. I'm not really sure, but that person did report that the gun was stolen during the confrontation. Of course, the .22 rifle they mentioned earlier. And police are actively combing the grounds for footprints that might be Cavalcante. You guys, tonight might be the night.
This woman claimed to be a 9/11 survivor, but she wasn't even in America on the day of the attacks. This is Alicia Esteve Head, aka Tanya Head. So a few years after the attacks, Alicia, aka Tanya, started claiming that she survived the attacks and she was in the South Tower at the time that the plane hit the building. Even further, she claimed to have been on the 78th floor of the building above the plane's impact. She claimed that her fiance, aka her husband, as she claimed later on, Dave, was killed during the attack, and that she had to crawl through the flames and smoke of the tower and she escaped. This would have made her one of only 19 people who survived at or above the point of impact that day, which means statistically that her survival would have been a miracle. So I'm going to call her Tanya from now on because that's what she was going with when she was doing all this. But in the years after the attacks, Tanya started up an online support group for 9/11 survivors. She wasn't paid for her involvement in this group, but she became the most prominent member of the group, and that's why she came to America in 2003. But let me remind you, Tanya had actually never been in America before the year 2003. She was living in Spain while all of this happened. So when she arrived in New York City, she was met with fanfare. People were excited to hear her story from her mouth. She was introduced to the then mayor of the city, Michael Bloomberg, pictured here. And she was even photographed with Rudy Giuliani, who was the mayor of New York at the time of the attacks. So Tanya had these severe burns on her arm that she claims she sustained during the attacks. So after she visited America, Tanya was interviewed by various news outlets. She was in the newspapers, she was on TV, and she was even invited to guide people around the wreckage of the World Trade Center, where she told people she was a survivor. But in 2007, the New York Times tried to verify Tanya's story, and what they discovered was shocking. She claimed that she had graduated from Harvard University and Stanford, but neither university had a record of her being there. She also claimed that at the time of the attack, she was working at Merrill Lynch in the South Tower, even though Merrill Lynch didn't have offices there. Shortly afterwards, a newspaper from Barcelona confirmed that she had actually been in class in Barcelona at the time of the attacks, and that she had told her friends and family members that she had actually sustained those burn marks on her arms from a bad automobile accident. So, shortly after her fraud was exposed, Alicia moved back to Barcelona, Spain. I mean, you gotta think about this. She was at the time the president of the World Trade Center Survivors Network. This was a huge, influential organization. And she had lied her way to the top of that organization, and no one really knows why she did it. Nowadays, she lives a normal, quiet life in Spain, but yeah, this is just a crazy story.
911, where's your emergency?
I woke up, my daughter's not in her bed, and I can't find her.
What's the address, honey? Okay, just a second.
I don't know what the heck is going on.
Okay.
I'm sorry, but there's no calming down at this point. I done
Honey,
searched my
I
entire
did
house.
it. Don't worry about it. It's okay.
I just don't understand where she
How
could have
old?
gone.
How old is she?
7? She's 7.
Okay.
I don't know why she would get up and walk out of my house. I don't know why. I don't know when. Everybody was in bed and accounted for. The boys got up just like normal. I thought she might have slept in. I went to go wake her, and she is just gone.
Okay. What's your name?
Jennifer.
What's your name?
Jennifer.
And your last name?
Trosin.
Can you spell for me? I'm so sorry.
Trosin.
Oh, okay. And a good callback number for you?
Yeah.
74?
Yeah.
You know what she had on?
No, I don't. I can't remember what she wore to bed last night.
So, did you just find this out? You just got up?
Yeah, well, no, I've been up since 6, so I haven't heard anything or anybody get up except for the boys. And then here it is 9 o'clock, and she's not awake. And usually she's my early riser, and I don't know what's wrong. And so I went to go get her from her room, and she's just not there.
Okay, just a moment, just a minute. Okay, I just want you to stay on the line with me a minute, okay?
I'm freaking out.
How tall is she? Can you get a picture out? I'm going to send Ken TV to you.
What?
Just a moment. Just a second.
Central to K16. Central to K16. Hey, I need you to go to missing 7-year-old little girl. Mom just went in her bedroom. She's not in bed. I'm still trying to get some things. Bye.
Okay.
Oh, my God. I don't understand. Where would she have gone?
Okay, I want to get some information from you. You said she's 48 inches tall?
She's a little shorter than that. I'm not exactly sure how tall she is. She only weighs like 57 pounds. She's got brown hair, brown eyes. I just don't understand. She never leaves the house. Get inside, please. It's cold out here.
Okay. Last seen when she went to bed last night, right?
Yeah. She was last seen when she went to bed last night. I sent her to bed about 7:30, 8 o'clock. She was tired.
Okay. Let me know when you see the police officers there. And then if you think about what she has on.
It's going to be purple or pink. I just can't remember exactly what it's got on it. I just don't understand where she could have gone or why.
Did you look under her bed?
I looked everywhere. I turned her bed over. I looked in the closet. I looked upstairs in the boys' closet, under their beds. I have torn my house apart looking for my child, and I cannot find her. So, the only place I didn't look is my own bed, but I doubt she's under there.
Okay. I have weighs 57 pounds, brown and brown, guessing height 46 to 48 inches. Would have pink or purple PJs on.
I just don't know where she would even have thought of going or why. Like, why is she leaving? Oh, my God.
Okay. What grade is she in?
Second. She knows her address. I don't think she knows her phone number.
Go ahead.
What's your daughter's name?
Kennedy.
Kennedy. Be Kennedy.
Trinity. Trinity. Trinity.
Section K7. Trinity. Trinity.
Do you see him there?
Yeah, he's here.
Okay. I'll disconnect and you talk to him, okay?
Okay.
Thank you. Bye.
Today, Ruby Franke said in court that the reason she was abusive is because her children are actually the predators. They are SAers. They have SA'd each other, SA'd family members, SA'd the neighbors, SA'd everybody. And apparently, even in court, they had somebody who said they showed up with an attorney who said that they were actually victims, them and their daughter, of somebody in this house that's SAing. Guys, I've got more information for you on this, so make sure and click the plus sign, sound up in the comments, tell me what you think, but go check out my first video on this if you want to see all the details. I've just been really ruminating with this and thinking, and I have a few thoughts. First of all, one of the details that came out is Ruby has said that one of her male children, which we're pretty sure we know who it is, at 3 years old, had been looking at graphic images of intimacy. Please infer, because it's TikTok, I have to be careful what I say. And it got me thinking, and I had some people in the comments speak up about this too, and I thought, okay, I think we're onto something. So, a couple questions. How did he get access to that at 3 years old? How many people do you know? How many 3-year-olds do you know that that's just sitting in their toy chest? That's one question I have. So when she wants to say that he's had this issue or been looking at this stuff since he was 3 years old, my question is, where have the parents been? Oh, those hard disciplinarians, those nice religious moral people. Where were you? Where was your discipline? I just don't understand how a 3-year-old gets access to that and says, well, he's been looking at these images since. Okay, so then you saw he was looking at the images. And somehow he continued to do it and kept doing it. That doesn't make sense to me. There's a lot of things that don't make sense to me about this. And it's interesting now that she's saying this, considering it seems like the only real thing that triggers either one of them has to do with physical intimacy. Remember Ruby's breakdown because there was a flash mob at the school, and apparently the song that they were going to be dancing to had lyrics that she thought were immoral. And then this guy goes to the school board meeting in front of everyone and children and says those lyrics explicitly, because it's okay for him to do it, even if he's showcasing how bad it is. He can do that in front of children. My question is to Ruby or to your husband, Kevin. Where did and by the way, and I'm just saying this as devil's advocate. I'm playing devil's advocate here. I'm not even saying I believe them, right? But let's entertain their thought. Hey, Ruby and Kevin, where did your child get that at 3 years old? How does the 3-year-old get access to that? Maybe you would say it was the older one, Chad. Okay, but still, how are you allowing this? How is this allowed? How is this getting through your strict parenting? And you know what that tells me? It tells me that you two as parents have failed. Because either you both are lying about your children, and shame on you, or you allowed them access to these things and never got them help or proper help, which is just sickening to me. On top of that, knowing that this guy's professor was pushing Jody on his students, gross. Another thing that I wonder is, she then says in this that apparently the children started doing it to each other. How? How do they know to do that? Where does that come from? Kevin and Ruby? Where does that behavior come from? That's not a behavior that I think most 3-year-olds just know how to do, or most children know how to do. So my question is, where are they getting all these ideas? Because people like this, they typically think the world is awful and horrible and that you're just in these bodies and that you can't overcome any of the urges in your bodies, whether or not it's food or addictions or intimacy of some sort. And I just find it interesting because I want to know, where do these children get those behaviors? Why all of a sudden is Kevin Franke out of the house, but he's right by your side now? There are so many things that don't add up and so many things that don't make sense. But from my perspective, you're a counselor and you're supposed to help parents. You failed. You both failed your children miserably. And to put them out like this, I think is disgusting. I think it's absolutely disgusting. Is this the reason why she took the channel down? Or is this what she's going to say? I don't know. I want to hear what you guys think. Am I onto something here? And I'm sorry I'm fired up. You guys know if you watch me, I try to typically stay calm. Sometimes I'll get giggly because something seems silly, but this feels like it's gone too far. Because either way, this makes them look awful. Either way, no matter how you slice or dice the situation, either they're lying because they're trying to cover up their abuse by throwing their kids under the bus, which is typical abuser behavior, or it's real and they didn't do anything or barely anything, or they failed to get their children the help that they needed. Let's entertain their children have these issues. You think torturing them is going to help? You think starving them is going to help? Binding them up is going to help? And see, when I see stuff like that, and then you hear that a 3-year-old has access to stuff that a 3-year-old should never even know how to have access to or what it is, something, to me, doesn't sit right with these two. I don't know. What do you guys think? Again, sorry I'm fired up. But when it comes to children getting harmed, and I feel like either way, we're actively watching children get harmed and we're watching gaslighting happen. Whether or not it's gaslighting of the children or gaslighting of the public or all of it. Sound off in the comments, click the plus sign. I've got more.
This morning, the search for escaped murderer Danilo Cavalcante has substantially expanded after officials say this weekend he slipped past their perimeter and took off in a stolen vehicle.
We have always looked at the potential that it could be a nationwide manhunt.
Authorities releasing these new images showing the inmate now clean-shaven, wearing new clothing. They say he visited the homes of 2 people he previously worked with asking for help, but neither were home, and one of them turned over the doorbell video footage to police. Investigators also say Cavalcante stole this van from a nearby dairy farm just outside the perimeter, which officials say was unlocked with the keys inside. From there, they say he drove 25 miles north before abandoning the van in a field when it ran out of gas. Now that region is the center of the search. Authorities had previously insisted they believed Cavalcante, who escaped 11 days ago by crab walking outside the prison, was contained within their police search area, but he still passed through undetected.
No perimeter is 100% secure, ever. In the end, I am confident we will capture him and we will bring him back into the criminal justice system.
And officials did confirm Eleni Cavalcante, Danilo's sister, is now in custody of Immigration and Customs Enforcement. They haven't specified the charges, but said she may face deportation. Rebecca?
But incredible, he escaped 11 days ago and still hasn't been caught. All right, Trevor, thank you.
Breaking news, the escaped Pennsylvania inmate is now armed and on the run. Late yesterday evening, when Cavalcante approached this property, he was fired upon 7 times by the homeowner. Here is the exact location where the incident occurred. The red and yellow dots on the roadway are authorities closing those roads. And here is an aerial view of the area where he was seen. Additionally, here's the EMS report for the shots fired call. Unfortunately, during that incident, Cavalcante was able to get a weapon. This is a stock image of the weapon they believe he possesses. Furthermore, at the end of the driveway, they located Cavalcante's green hoodie. In addition, they also located his shoes. Furthermore, authorities say out of abundance of caution, they are looking for a black SUV. This is because a dispatch call came in that said someone saw an individual matching the description of Cavalcante getting out of a vehicle and getting into the trunk of a black SUV. They said he was toting the weapon and wearing the same clothing as him. Here's that dispatch call. Take a listen.
Let us know if you have any vehicles come through. We're not reportable. Now getting out of one vehicle and into a trunk of another. Off of Stauffer Road, which just be due east of you on 23.
Additionally, last night an officer was injured. They said he sustained injuries to his face from burns of an overheating vehicle. There were also reports that the homeowner sustained injuries as well. However, that has not yet been confirmed. Authorities updated last night saying they are still pursuing Daniello in the area of Ridge Road, Coventryville Road, Daisy Point Road in South Coventry Township. He is armed. Residents in the area are asked to lock all doors, windows, secure vehicles, and remain indoors. Additionally, they have sent out a reverse 911 alert urging everyone to shelter in place. Additionally, Owen J. Roberts School District said they will be closing all schools and offices today, September 12th. I'll keep you guys updated on any developments. What do you think? Drop in the comments. Breaking news, authorities now believe the escaped Pennsylvania inmate is inside of a construction site. This comes after authorities announced on the police scanner that there was someone running through the field towards this site. Take a listen.
6171, there's a white male, dark shorts, running through the field towards conservatory. From where?
The confirmed sighting was after a law enforcement agent saw the suspect but was unable to catch him. Authorities have been fixated on this area since there was a confirmed sighting today. In addition, tactical snipers were also seen on a bridge position just a little bit ago. Additionally, here is a photo of an area they closed off earlier during the search. And here is an aerial look of the area they are searching for him. Here's a photo provided by authorities to show where they are all positioned. To stay up to date, click the playlist below. I'll keep you guys updated. What do you think? Drop in the comments.
Her arms were cut off. Her legs were cut off. Her ears were cut off. Her tongue was cut off.